Because I've done two not very good films in South Africa, and I remember them principally for the pleasure of the bird watching on my days off.
I've done the same. Probably 3 not very good films.
That's the thing as well, when you're not like actively seeking out nests, but you just kind of come across them.
Yeah.
People, especially dog walkers, can come across like kind of ground nesting birds, like waders and stuff like that. And because they're just kind of, well, I guess like the curlews, they're just kind of on the ground. But I feel like a really cool behaviour that people don't necessarily know about is like distraction displays. So it's basically when you're getting too close to the nest and the birds are like purposely trying to get your attention to distract you to save their chicks, basically. Which I think is such a cool thing, because then you'll have the adults pretending to be injured to try and like tempt you away and stuff like that. And it's like, that's so clever. Like, how did they even evolve to do that? But it's really cool.
You don't know what to do sometimes, do you? I mean, you know, when you see, they say you sometimes say it's interfering with nature, but I mean, there's a lot of things interfering with nature. So I don't see any harm in helping some poor creatures.
There's this myth that if you touch baby birds, the parents are going to reject them because they can smell it or whatever, and it's not true at all. No, not at all. No. And it's like, I think there's kind of two things going on with chicks though, in that like you'll have the fledglings who they've left the nest but they're a bit rubbish, they can't really fly yet, so they look like they're sat around, but the parents are there, they're looking after them. Best to leave them be unless there's like a cat or something around. Versus if you've got a baby bird and it's a bit naked or it's kind of fluffy rather than feathered, that's supposed to still be in the nest, and actually the best thing to do is to scoop it up and put it back in the nest again. Because like they need such like round the clock feeding and attention that's like even more than like a couple hours out of the nest could be really disastrous. So it's like, obviously I'm not advocating for people to be like getting involved, but actually sometimes just doing that little bit to help birds it's important and it's the right thing to do.
Rewilding your garden for birds doesn't have to be complicated. It often starts with just letting things get a little bit untidy.
I love my wild area because it means it's less work for me, right? I don't have to do anything. I just have to let it go. So it's great. Nobody's on my case about tidying up. I'm like, no, that's for the hedgehogs, it's for the butterflies, it's for the caterpillars.
Here's NHS doctor and RSPB president, Dr. Amir Khan.
At the back of our garden, we've got a little pond that we built, and then at the back of the pond, we've got all the nettles, and it's also close to our compost heap. So we get loads of caterpillars. Well, not right now, but in the spring and summer, we get lots of caterpillars. And then we see the blue tits coming in and picking them off, and then taking them off to their nests and stuff. It's such a wonderful thing to see, and it's so easy for us all to do. We've just got to move away from this kind of idea of manicured gardens, right? Where everything has to be perfect.
I know it is. It's like me. We've got a load of nettles, but they're towards the back, which is fine. I'm not running through them every day.
I mean, it is a bugger when you get stuck. It is a bugger.
Wherever I've been, I've always put a pond in because you don't have to have a big pond for what it attracts. For frogs and newts and all sorts of stuff, doesn't it?
All the insects that ponds bring with them as well are perfect for birds, aren't they? So we've got a wren that kind of hops around our pond picking off things that are flying close by to it.
For the little amount of effort, what it can bring, it's an incredible array of species and insects and birds and animals, isn't it? Just for that one little patch, Now, April the 21st is World Curlew Day. A moment to celebrate this much-loved wading bird and to face how much it's struggling. 2026 marks 10 years since its founder, Mary Colwell, walked 500 miles from Ireland's west coast to England's east coast to raise awareness of the endangered curlew.
And the idea was to talk to anybody who could tell me about curlews, whether that be a conservationist or a scientist or a farmer or a poet, birdwatcher, anybody that I could talk to that felt they had some kind of connection to the curlew. And from that, I began to build up this picture, this both scientific, environmental and cultural picture of what curlews mean in this country. And out of that came the book Curlew Moon, and out of that then followed Curlew Action and the Curlew Recovery Partnership. And I think the book is where David comes in.
We've all got curlew ringtones. Well, I'm David Gray. I'm a singer-songwriter, a musician by trade, but since 2020, I've been heavily involved in curlew conservation, and I'm now the ambassador of Curlew Action, Mary Colwell's charity. It's always difficult to buy me a Christmas present. My daughter bought me Curlew Moon. I was a curlew enthusiast and a moon enthusiast, so how could this be a bad present? So she bought me this book, and I read the book just after Christmas. And it sort of disabused me of all my rather sort of romantic ideas that they were doing okay. And by the end of the book, I not only felt like I wanted to do something, but I felt like this was the cause that I'd been sort of waiting for.
The pinch point for curlews is they cannot fledge enough chicks. So once they get to adults, they survive really, really well, but they can't get their eggs and chicks to survive. So they're not replacing themselves. And the reason they're not doing that is the way we grow food. So the eggs and chicks get chopped up in grass cutting machines or mown over by all kinds of machinery or trampled on by if the stocking density is too high, or we plant trees across their breeding grounds, or we drain the ground so much it's too hard, or we put up infrastructure, or we walk our dogs across it. You know, everything we do happens on the ground, really. And therefore, curlews are completely at the whim of human activities. No one will die, no one will get ill, no one will lose their job if curlews go extinct. You can't argue it from a practical point of view. You can only argue it from an emotional, cultural heritage point of view. And so that's really, really important. It might not form a figure on the bottom line of a spreadsheet, but it will make us more human. And we really need everything to make us more human at the moment.
This one says, I've decided to start a life list this year. Is it better to travel to see rare birds or stay put? I feel like I'm missing out by staying in my city park. I think somewhere in between is okay. You don't have to start travelling the world, but you can also leave your local city park. I think people would be surprised by how many birds you can see in kind of a 10-mile radius of your house. And these days as well, you don't have to be a lone wolf as a bird watcher. I think one of the nicest things is there are loads of people out there doing the same stuff. So I think kind of looking at places near to home that are maybe different habitats, like kind of wetlands and woodland and stuff.
I once saw a waxwing in our garden in Sheffield.
Really?
I only saw one, never saw it again.
Genuinely, they're one of my favourites. I haven't seen one this winter. I haven't seen one, and I'm very sad.
A bit like hoopoes.
They're a good one.
I've never seen one of them though.
Have you not? They kind of just turn up in the UK sometimes. It's a bit weird,
yeah.
If you have your finger to the pulse, you will eventually see one, but they are very cool. Because I do think that's one of the funny things about bird watching is people are very into lists and listing and keeping track of what they've seen, and it can be anything from like a local patch list to a year list to a world life list, but I think most bird watchers are definitely keeping track.
Do you get like a lot of competition between them?
It gets very competitive, and
do you have any fights?
I was just thinking about
physical.
Not that I've seen, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I think if people do just want to casually keep track of what they're seeing, there's also definitely the resources for that as well.
Do you ever choose your jobs because of the local wildlife? Because I've done 2 not very good films in South Africa. And I remember them principally for the pleasure of the bird watching on my days off.
I've done the same. Probably 3 not very good films. I think it's difficult when you're filming, though. I mean, because a big film crew comes and just colonises an area and makes a lot of noise and a lot of light, and you don't tend to take your binoculars on set with you, do you? Really? Probably a bit impolite, really, for a start.
I wish that was true. I wish that was true, Sean. I'm never without them. I'm never without them. I'm afraid to. Mind you, on All Creatures Great and Small, it's a fairly small crew, and we're often outside. So if things are flying over, I keep them on my chair. Oh, you're very well behaved. I'm just impressed that you've been with you.
If you love bird watching, why not join the flock, our Get Birding Members Club? Enjoy exclusive content, latest birding news, ad-free episodes, and access to community chat rooms to share tips, spots, and more with birdies around the world. go to our website, getbird.ing.